We're going to talk about building a brand tonight. That's what I do. My kind of focus is on building brands. So who the heck is this guy? My name is Justin Moore. I've been in the creative field for about 20 years now. I've worked with, I'm a designer by trade and training. I've worked with companies like Live Nation and Toshiba, and I've worked with small businesses like Cabarrus Brewing and mom and pop businesses that are just starting out, and everything in between. But the principles of branding are the same no matter what size the business is. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about tonight. Again, like I mentioned, Subliminal, what Subliminal is a full service creative agency. That's from coming up with what your brand is. I don't want to give away too much before we get into it, but that's from coming up with what your brand is, defining who your customer is, all the way down to designing your logo, designing your website, doing your socials, all that kind of thing. So full service creative means anything and everything across the board that your customer is seeing, and what you're appealing to your customer with is basically what I do. I've worked with many local entities here in the area. Worked with these guys, did all the chambers, new brand imagery, Cabarrus Brewing, like I said, the EDC, a lot of stuff here in the area. A lot of stuff you may not realize or even really notice, but there is someone behind the scenes that actually does that stuff. Like the visitor's guidebook, I literally just sent that off to print this morning for next year. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. So now that we've got the obligatory introduction out of the way, what the heck is a brand? What do you guys think a brand is? Just throw it out there. What do you, when you hear the word brand, what do you think I mean by that?
So it's like an image. So it's not just the name of the business. It's like what the business is about. Like, in my opinion, at least that's what I'm trying to move towards.
Okay.
We're rebranding ourselves,
Right.
and when like you see outdoors, you see overlanding, or you see camping gear, or a very rustic wallet, like you see who we are.
Okay.
So that's what you see.
Right. Yep. Anything else?
And to me, it's like a representation of values that you believe in.
Okay. Anybody else? So the definition of a brand, David Ogilvy of Ogilvy Advertising, he was the advertising master of the 1960s. He was the guy who started the advertising boom, really kind of started what we now know as advertising. The father of advertising defined brand as the intangible sum of a product's attributes. The dictionary of brand defines a brand as a person's perception of a product, service, experience, or organization. So what does that even mean, okay? From a customer standpoint, it means a brand is how an entity makes you feel and how you see it helping your customers survive and overcome a problem. So kind of along basically what you guys just said there. You kind of hit the nail on the head, which I'm really proud of you guys, because that's, I was expecting someone to tell me and like, oh, I think it's what a pretty picture is. So what a brand is not. A brand is not a logo. A brand is not a visual identity. And a brand is not a product. Those things are just pieces of the pie, and they're not the entire pie. I get people contacting me all the time saying, I need a new brand. And once we start talking about it, what they're trying to convey to me is, I need help with a logo. And that's a common misconception that people think a brand is a logo, and it's not. Nike's check is not their brand. It's their logo, it's part of their brand, but it's not their brand. How something looks, when you see a Coca-Cola advertisement, that red and that white, that's part of their brand, but it's not their brand. It's all under one umbrella, it's just a piece of that umbrella. And a brand is not a product. Coca-Cola product in the bottle is not the brand. It's the product. Many of you guys have products yourselves. Your individual products aren't your brand. We're gonna get into what your brand is, but that's not your brand. So that's something I want to kind of put out there to start is, understand the fact that what you're actually giving the customer, what you're putting out to the customer, isn't your brand. So you get it. So what the heck is branding? To put it simply, branding is telling a story. That's what it is. It's basically kind of what you guys just talked about. So the essence of branding is to create a simple, relevant message that we can repeat over and over so that we brand ourselves into the customer's consciousness. So the word brand actually originally started cattle branding. That's where it started from. You branded, that way people in other fields know that that was your cow. That's where it came from, that's where it started. But that concept is still alive today in the fact that we want to brand in your customer's brain who you are, what you are, how you can help them, what your products are and how they can help them. Here's the biggest thing. Customers generally don't care about your story, they care about their own. This is where a lot of problems, businesses think the customer want to know about them, the business. They think, business owners think, my business is awesome, everybody loves me, everybody wants to know what I'm doing. Customers really couldn't care less. They don't care about you, they care about themselves. So your customer should be the hero in the story and not your brand. So in order to make the customer your hero in your story, you need to understand who your customer is. Who's your demographic? Who's the person you're trying to appeal to? What is it that appeals to them? And how can you place yourself into their story? That's the biggest thing. Everybody thinks their business is the hero. It's not. Completely 180 from what a lot of business owners think. Then the next thing is, why do they need your product or service in their life? That's the biggest part. And then once you understand those things, you need to keep it simple and clear and tell your customer in an easily digestible form what you're offering without burning too many calories in an effort to understand how you can solve their problem. And we're going to go into these things a little bit more, and we're going to kind of explain all this stuff a little bit more in depth here pretty soon. But this is kind of the overview of what we're going to talk about for the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. So we as human beings, we all have a instinct to survive. Our brain works to burn as little calories as possible to help us survive. Okay? When you give someone you're giving too much to someone, and you're kind of telling, oh, my leather products are made from Napa cowhide leather, and it's in this field, and they eat this grass. The customer doesn't care. They don't care about that. So keep it simple, keep it clear, because when they have to burn too many calories in their head, thinking about like, why do I need to know this? Why do I even care about this? They're going to turn off. They're not going to pay attention to you. So story in a nutshell. When I'm talking about story, I literally mean story. This same concept works for branding. The same concept, every movie you've ever watched follows this same thing. Every book you've ever read follows the same thing. So basically, the premise of every story has seven parts to it. A character, which is number one, wants something and encounters a problem. Before they can get it, at the peak of their despair, a guide, that's you, your customer, you, gives them a plan and calls into action, gives them a plan, you're telling them why they need your product, calls them to action, buy your product. That helps them avoid failure. If they don't get your product, their life isn't going to be as good as it would be if they got your product. And ends in success. They got your product, it resolves their issue, you got your guitar fixed. You can now play your guitar, you can play with your band again. To put it in other terms, let's think about this, Star Wars. Star Wars, Luke Skywalker has a problem. The Empire's taking over the galaxy. Meets a guide, that's Yoda, who gives him a plan, teaches him about the Force, calls him to action. He's got to save the galaxy, and avoid the failure of the entire universe blowing up. You can look at any movie, any book, it all follows this same thing. And so does your brand and your customer's mindset. So there are three crucial questions. A lot of you guys actually mentioned that you're online. So there are three things that people need to see within the first 5 seconds of looking at your website and your marketing materials if you expect them to engage with your brand. What is it you offer? And this is something when I look at I haven't actually had a chance to look at your stuff yet, so some of you guys are probably doing a great job at this already, but what is it you offer? You'd be amazed how many businesses don't actually put what it is they offer on there. Like I have to scroll down, I have to go to another page to actually see, oh, okay, they offer guitar services. Like that's Put it first and foremost. How will it make my life better? Again, the customer is the hero here, not you. Why do I need their services? Why do I need this guy to fix my guitar? I'm just pointing you out, sorry. And what do I need to do to buy it? They need to be able to figure out, and we're going to talk about that a lot more here in a bit too, but what do I need to buy it? It needs to be obvious at first glance on your site or in your marketing materials or whatever it is. I like your product, I need it, how do I get it? If you don't show them how to get your product, they're not going to get your product. They're not going to engage with you and they're not going to buy it. So let's go into the elements of a story here with number one, a character. And these sheets that I have out in front of you here, guys, these are, we're going to kind of go through each element of the story here. And if you want to put down notes on these, you can, but if you do put notes, kind of put them down on the bottom of the page because you're actually going to fill out this in a bit. So we talked about the customer as the hero and not your brand. You are the guide, you're the trusted resource to help them overcome their challenges. Their challenges are, I need a leather pocket knife. I need my guitar fixed. I need some shea butter, like that's their problem, or that's their challenge. You're the leader providing the wisdom, products, and services to the hero, the customer, needs to survive. Again, we talked about that need to survive earlier. Every human being, this is a lot of psychological stuff that goes along with this, and this is probably going to be the most artsy-fartsy presentation you guys are going to get throughout this program you're in. But the drive to survive is what our brains instinctually do for us, okay? This is where we need to keep things simple and to the point. Our brains don't want to burn calories to understand things that we don't necessarily need to understand. And then, unless we identify something our customer wants, they will never feel invited in the story we were telling. So we need to understand our customer, one, and then understand why they're having an issue. Why would they even want, a leather hat? I mean, why do I need that? Once you understand that, and we're going to go into that a little bit more, but once we understand that, then we can start talking to the customer in the way that makes them say, oh, I need this, I've got to get this, because I need this for my survival. So define something simple your customer wants. This puts the question of, can this brand really help me get what I want in their mind? And this invites them to alter their story, their life, to come in your direction to get what it is they think is going to help them survive. And when I say survive, not everything is life and death. I get that. Having your guitar fixed isn't a life or death thing. But in your customer's mind, that's something that's causing them frustration. That's something that's causing them to not live a nice, peaceful life. That's the root of what we're trying to get to here. So don't think about the fact that, don't think about like shea butter doesn't help people survive. Like we're getting to it. Stick with me here, guys. So we need to understand the why do they want it, not what do they want. Does that make sense? I see you looking side-eyed there.
You get it? It's why they want it, not what they want?
Yes. So why would you got hats. They want one of your hats.
Okay.
Why would they want it?
Because you want to be cool.
There you go.
You want to be.
There you go. So now that you understand that, tap into that. That's that FOMO thing. Hey, you need this because your friends are going to think you're really cool when you wear this hat. That's the essence of what I'm talking about here. It's not really about the fact they want the hat. It's why they want the hat. And then how, sell it to them, give them the call to action to buy it. How can you help them overcome their problem to achieve their aspiration? Their problem is I want the hat. The aspiration is I want my friends to think I'm cool. Okay? Does that make sense? Everybody with me here so far? All right. Look, everybody else looks side-eyed if I kind of lose you because that helped me get there. So the goal for our branding should be that every potential customer knows exactly where we want to take them. Again, we're the guide. The customer is the hero who needs our help to find what it is they want. We need to lead them to that hat that they want so their friend thinks they're cool. So just this maybe not necessarily these are pertinent to what you're doing, but can we help them conserve financial resources? Can we help them conserve time, build their social networks, gain status, think they're cool, accumulate resources, tap into their innate desire to be generous, or find a desire for meaning? And the desire for meaning is a little more philosophical, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But these are really the essence of what every human being wants, right here. We want someone to help us save our financial resources, or our resources in general. If we have a lot of food, if the world ends, we want to keep that food. That's just our human nature. That's our animal brain wanting to conserve everything we have. Conserve time. We want to be able to spend more time with our family and less time worrying about man, my guitar broke. I need to get that fixed. We want to spend more time worrying about spending time with our family than we do about worrying about I gotta get my guitar fixed. Build their social networks. Gain the status of thinking, hey man, I want my friends to think I'm cool. Accumulate the resources. Can we help them, get the things that they want to solve their problems? So customers want to know where you can take them, and unless you can identify something they want, it's doubtful they'll listen. So again, going back to that, knowing who they are, knowing why they want something, they're not going to really even listen to you if they can sense that you don't really know what it is they're wanting and you don't really care what they want. If you make it obvious that you are a brand that really cares about what they want and making them happy, they're going to listen to you, and they're going to be receptive to what it is. Okay, well, what do you have to offer? I'll listen to you now. Okay? Does that make sense? So now let's go into the second element of the story. Has a problem, and that's on the second page of the thing there. So companies, this is the big problem, what I talked about earlier, is doing that 180. Companies tend to sell solutions to external problems, but customers buy solutions based on internal problems. External problem, I want a hat. Internal problem, I want my friends to think I'm cool. Okay, does that make sense? So customers are attracted to us because they want to solve a problem that has in a big or small way disrupted their life. They want that peaceful life. They want things to go easygoing. Every single one of us in this room wants life to just be easy breezy, don't really want to have to think about things, don't really want to have to worry about things. But there are things that happen in our lives that kind of throw us off track. My toilet's clogged. I've got to go get some Drano. Like that's that mentality. So by talking about the problems our customers face, we deepen their interest in everything we offer. So when we talk about the fact that like my friends don't think I'm cool because I don't have this hat, or my friends think my fashion is terrible, well, here's something that's going to help you alleviate that. Okay, does that make sense? I got you. So there are three levels of problems that a customer encounters. The external, like we talked about, I need a lawnmower. Internal, my yard looks like crap. Philosophical, my yard should look good really all the time. Why shouldn't I have the yard that looks the best in the neighborhood? Okay, does that make sense? There are three levels here, and we're going to go into more of it, but those are the three main problems that a customer encounters. And customers are much more motivated to solve their internal frustrations than they are an external frustration. So people won't just buy a hat just because they want to buy a hat, for the most part. They want to buy a hat because it's something that my head's burning. I need to put a hat on. I need something that goes with my outfit. I need to do that. Okay. So your internal frustration is what leads to you buying your external product.
What about? I got a quick question. What about addictions?
What's
so
that?
like addiction.
Okay.
So not drugs related, but some of my customers, literally, like I can put out a wallet and I'll invite them through Instagram to help me redesign something, asking questions of what does it need? Does it need pockets? Does it need snaps? Does it need the loop? Whatever it might be. And then finally we'll get to a point where I've created something on my own based off of what I'm hearing people want, and then I'll make one, put a picture on it, and immediately, like the hundreds of messages can't stop, and then we'll do a drop and we'll sell out in 2, 3, 4 hours. Mm-hmm. But like I'm trying to see where this fits, because to me that's more of addiction. It's just guys that want everyday carry, and they're like, I want that wallet now. That's the one I want.
They want it because they're going to miss out if they don't.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's FOMO. We're going to get to that in a bit. But yes, we're getting there. So identify the problems that your customer faced. This deepens their interest in the story that we're telling. So if you can tell someone the reason as to why you need your guitar fixed, they're gonna be more receptive and be like, oh, I need to go to that guy to get my guitar fixed. And I'm just picking on you guys because you're like right here in front of me. So when you identify your customer's problem, they recognize you as a brand that understands them. So this is the hook of the story. This is where you've got them. This is where they understand that like why it is they need to listen to you and say, hey, I need to interact with that guy. Like, what is it? They're not ready to buy yet, but they're listening, okay? And then every story needs a villain. It gives the conflict a clear point of focus. The villain doesn't have to be a person, but should have personified characteristics. The root source of frustration, it's the root source of all frustration, and I'm going to explain what this is here in a second. One villain is enough. You don't need to go over the board. You don't need an entire horror movie coming down on people. You just need to give them one thing to focus their frustration on. It should be relatable, and it should be real. So a good example of this, everybody's seen those Mucinex commercials, those little green goblin things. That's a personified frustration of mucus in your chest. There are literally no little mucus monsters running around in your chest. We all know that. But what that is, that Mucinex is giving that focus, the focus of that frustration that like, oh God, this cough just won't go away. They've personified it, and they've given that, it's relatable. We know it. It's a little green monster. Everybody's seen little green monsters their entire lives in children's stories and everything else. So we've given them a focus to put their focus on for their frustration. And they can relate to it, and it's a real thing. So Mucinex is basically, they've tapped into what this is. This is their villain, and this is what they're using to say, hey, we can help you get rid of that. Those little chest goblins, we can get rid of those for you, and we can help you solve that frustration of that cough that you have going on. So that's that internal conflict that they've got going. So what is the chief source of conflict that your products and services defeat? So that could be FOMO. That could be you need. I don't know enough about everybody's business yet, so I can't really point out everybody seeing here. But the chief source of conflict, what do you think is something that your customers, once you define who they are, what can you help them defeat? What is that villain, whether that's someone who wants natural products and all they can find in a store are lotions with all kinds of chemicals in them. That's that villain that you can help them defeat. So the more you talk about the villain, the more your customer will want a tool to help them defeat your villain. Again, Mucinex, those little goblin things are all over the place. They keep going over, they keep talking about them over and over and over. So you, in your mind, say, I need help with that. That's what that is. So your product and service is what's going to help them. That's the tool that's going to help them defeat the villain that you're defining. So there are 3 levels of conflict. There's the external problem, like we talked about. This is a physical and tangible problem that the hero must overcome that's causing a frustration, which leads to the internal problem. That's the desire to resolve a frustration that is a great motivator than their desire to solve an external problem. So again, I need a lawnmower. My yard looks terrible. My yard should be nice as everyone else's, okay? So the story is bigger than the story itself, and it's a question of why. Why is it unjust that people have to suffer at the hands of our villain? Why do I have to suffer these green goblins in my chest, okay? Can your products be positioned as a tool to fight back against the what shouldn't be, okay? And a good example of what that is Apple. Apple computers, the watch, the iPods, everything. Apple is one of the largest businesses on the planet because they understand these 3 things and they do it incredibly well. So the villain is technology that's too complicated. The external problem, I need a new computer. The internal problem, which is why people buy it, my computer is too complex, I'm intimidated by it. The philosophical problem, technology shouldn't be so hard to understand, I just want to check my emails and surf the web, it should be simple, okay? Steve Jobs is a genius because the first Apple computers were stupid complicated. It was the early 80s, and that was the time when you had to have a doctorate to understand how to work the thing, okay? When Apple first started, they put a 9-page ad in the New York Times explaining every single specific product specification of this computer. Didn't sell at all. No one bought it. No one cared. It was just too much. Steve Jobs left, opened Pixar story. Okay, he started seeing how story works. Comes back to Apple. They completely revamp everything, and now it's the Apple that we know today. Okay, they simplified the interface. They simplified how we interact with it. They started creating other products that help us with our lives, make it easier. Our phones, and I have a computer in my pocket. I've got one on my wrist. They realized that people just want simplicity. Okay, that's the essence of the Apple brand. Yes, they make computers. Yes, they make technology. But the essence of what Apple is simplicity. You look at their website and everything. They do a great job with their actual visual identity. It's always very simple and clean. They take that concept of being simple and they put it everywhere. Their website, their actual interfaces, their advertising. Everything's very simple and clean, okay? So it's basically a perfect brand. If you can hit on all three levels of conflict when a customer engages with your business, that's how you truly satisfy them and turn them into brand advocates. That's why there are rabid Apple fans out there, myself included. I see you shaking your head. You don't like them? But what it is they've tapped into all three of these things, and they've given a villain. They've found the villain, and they've tapped into all three of these things that their customers, that their demographic is looking for, and they've done an incredible job with it. So that's really that's an example of kind of how all of those various things we just talked about all kind of fit together in a brand that you have seen and you understand. Any questions so far there? Yeah. So the third part of it, and meets a guide. You're their Yoda. So customers aren't looking for another hero, they're looking for a guide. We as human beings don't want competition. We in our animal brain, when someone else is competing for resources with us, that turns us off, okay? So a lot of businesses make the mistake of trying to position themselves as like, oh, well, we can do this for you. We can help you with this. We can be the reason why you do this. No, you need to show them, here's how you can do it. Be a little softer about it, okay? Does that make sense? So you're not preaching to them as like, oh, well, we are the bleh. Let's help you. Let us help you do this, okay? So the customer could solve their own problem, they wouldn't have gotten in trouble in the first place. If they could fix the toilet without Drano, they wouldn't need Drano, okay? Brands that position themselves as the heroes unknowingly compete with their potential customers. Again, we as animals, we don't want competition. We want our easygoing life. We don't want to have to burn too many calories to survive. We don't want another entity coming in and saying, oh, well, we can do this too. We want someone to show us how they can help us in our lives. So the brand story isn't about you, it's about your customer. You care about your customer and they'll care about you. You genuinely need to give that, you don't have to go completely overboard with the soft music playing and like, oh, well, we care. You don't have to do all that, but the concept is that you show your customer that, hey, we're in it with you. Yeah, we've had that problem. Yeah, we can help you with that. My toilet overflowed last week. I can help you with that. You put yourself on the same level with them instead of up here, okay? So the hero is never the strongest character. You, the guide of experience and the knowledge to help them and show them the way. You're the pro. Show them why they should trust the pro. Going back to the Star Wars thing, Luke Skywalker isn't the strongest character in that movie. Yoda is. Yoda's the strongest. I mean, you look at the entire series of that movie, Yoda's the top dog here, okay? Luke listens to Yoda. Your business is Yoda. Luke is the customer, okay? Does that make sense? I got you there. I told you it's going to be artsy-fartsy and a little right-brained, but that's the concept. So there are two characteristics of a guide. There's two things that your brand must communicate to position yourself as the guide. You need to be empathetic. You need to understand the pain and frustration of your hero. Show them that you have something in common with them. Again, that's that my toilet's overflowed too. I feel you, man. Like, I'm here, I can help you. I've done that, I've been there. Create that bond of trust, that shared values. If you have natural products, You have customers that are into natural products. You need to show them like, hey, that's our thing too. Like we're here with you. We're here, okay? And then you need to make sure that they are seen, heard, and understood. So that's that again. Hey, I get you. I understand. I hear what you're saying to me. Exactly, 100%. I'm with you. This is how we can go forward. And this is how, you know what? I've got the products you need. I can give those for you. Yeah, here. All you need to do is just buy it right here, okay? The second part of that is authority. You need to demonstrate competence. Your hero trusts someone who knows what they're doing, but don't overdo it and don't preach at them. Don't act like a know-it-all. You can't, if I were, I'm preaching at you guys right now, but if I were, if it wasn't in this circumstances, if I was standing in a bar beside you and I was telling this stuff, you'd probably look at me like, dude, just shut up. Like, I got it. And like, yeah, you know, that's the thing is you don't want to completely just preach at them. You don't want to say, hey, we've got this. We can do this. We can do this. You just need to, it's more of a, hey, we can help you. We can help you. I've got something that can help you. Come over here and check this out. That's more of the conversation that you're looking to have here with your customer. So there are 4 ways to demonstrate authority to the customer. Testimonials, give them, show, and this is something that, you know, once you guys actually start, some of you probably are, but some of you guys already have some of these things going, but once you have past customers, get some of those testimonials to show to your new potential customers that there are past interactions with you that people, I've got happy customers. People who are exactly like you, that were looking for the exact same things you're looking for and have the exact same problems, bought from me because I've got this and they alleviated their problem. Statistics, and this goes to those left-brainers here. I'm sure the math people here are gonna like this one, but statistics shows how many customers you've helped. You know, if you can show them a graph of like, last year we had 800 purchases over $50 or whatever that statistic that makes sense for your customer. If you can show them that, do it. Awards, don't go overboard, but it is a good, helpful addition. You don't want to throw your success in their face because you're not the hero in the story, okay? If you start throwing too much in their face, they're like, oh, we're better than you. That's that competing thing, and you don't want to do that. They're the hero, you're the guide. And then logos. Again, this is sort of the same kind of thing with testimonials. People want to see that you have experience and you've helped others. So if there are businesses that you guys have worked with, or if there are, maybe not as pertinent to you guys because you're selling B2C, but if you have experience with helping other organizations, like if you sell to Walmart, put on your website, hey, we sell to Walmart, or our products, you can find our products in Harris Teeter, or show your customer that, oh wow, these guys are legit. They're in Harris Teeter. That's awesome. Like that's kind of what we're talking about here. And make a great first impression, because honestly, sometimes it's all you get. So make it count. Your first interaction, your customer is assessing whether your brand knows what they're doing. Should I let them be my guide? And is investing my time and money going to be worth it? Can they really help me solve my problem? These are the things, I do it myself. I go to companies' websites all the time and I'm looking at them like, do I really need that? Most of your customers, and probably yourselves too, go to a lot of sites and you're like, well, do I really need that? It's because they haven't hooked you yet and they haven't sold you on what it is, how can they help me, okay? That's what you gotta do. You gotta hook them, you gotta get them in your story and tell them why, hey, listen to me, I can help you. I've got this product, it's help these people, check it out, buy it. So it's human nature to question, can I trust this and can I respect this? Empathy helps to build trust. Authority helps to create respect. So that empathy is, yeah, I'm with you. I've got you. Yeah, I mean, I helped a guy last week do that, okay? Authority is, yep, I know exactly what's going on. My toilet overflowed. I had to get some Drano and fix it last week. Does that make sense? So those two things are things you both need to do, but it's two ways of going about it. So now we're going into the fourth element of a story. Who gives them a plan? This is the Yoda teaching Luke the Force, okay? Customers trust a guide who has a plan. So you're going to lay out a simple plan of action, again, simple, that they can take that removes any confusion about how to do business with you. That's the big thing. Anytime someone sees your marketing materials, your website, your social posts, anything, they need to understand like how, okay, I love that, that's cool. I want to buy one of those hats, that's awesome. How do I do it? Like that's what they want to know, okay? And you need to make that obvious right at first glance. So a purchase is a commitment of your hero saying, I believe you can help me solve my problem. You can help me look cooler to my friends because I've got this cool hat, okay? The commitment of a purchase is a risk on the customer's part. Our guidance will increase their comfort level. When any purchase is a commitment from the, there are many times I'm like, I don't really want to, okay, here. You know, that handing of that money over is a commitment that I trust what you're giving me is what I need to fulfill my story, to alleviate my issues, okay? So we have to understand that, and we have to be empathetic to the fact that, you know, people are giving their hard-earned money to us. We need to give them something back that's exactly what it is they want, okay? So you need a plan that creates clarity. All effective plans do one of two things. Clarify how they do business with you. They listen to you, and now what? So without a clear guidance on how to engage with you, they'll be confused. I see your product at a trade show or at a market or something, and you give me your card, and I go and I check it out on your website next Tuesday when I get home. And I look at your site, and I don't, okay, well, where is that? Why? I was looking for shea butter, and I see hairnets. Like, why, where is that? Why can't I find that? So you need to make it clear how it is how they buy from you. Oh, there it is. But how do I buy it? Where's the buy now button? How do I actually make this purchase? Okay. And that confusion leads to an excuse not to do business with you. How many of you guys go to a site and you're ready to buy and you can't find the buy now button, or it just seems like such a pain to actually make the purchase? Make it easy. Just make it just blatantly easy. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in a bit, but make it just completely blatantly easy how it is they can buy your product, okay? Just beat them over the head with it. Like say, here, flashing, here, this is where you buy it. So what that does is it removes the sense of risk they might feel about purchasing. They may be apprehensive to make the purchase because they're worried it won't work for them, but you need to solve their problem for them. So your plan should have that how. This is how you buy this product. And the why is, you've got a problem, I can help you with it. This is how my product can solve that issue that you've got going on. So there's no confusion left. So that how and why, these two things are what's going to answer those questions in the customer's mind. So there are two types of plans. There's a process plan that alleviates confusion. So that's what describes the steps your customer needs to take to buy your product. So this is what's really called like a pre-purchase plan. So when you're looking, someone's going to your site and they're saying, okay, that's what I want. I want the yellow shea butter. Sorry, I don't know what the products are called, but you get what I'm saying there. I want that one, okay? You need to lay it out specifically. It's like, okay, here it is. You've got 3 sizes you can get. Make it obvious. I want the 12-ounce one. I want it shipped tomorrow. Like make it very, very obvious and really explain it out very well to them. So that's what you need to show them to take and use the product. So after they buy it. So you know, how is shea butter used? Okay, put a video on there. Show them like this is how you wipe it on. This is how it softens your skin, and like you know that's sort of thing. So that's really that pre-purchase process plan. And then your post-purchase plan is when you're going back and you're touching base with them after they've made that initial purchase. You know, that's when you go back and say, oh, well, you liked that one. Check this one out. This one does this too. You know, maybe you know this one has this ingredient that does this a little bit differently than what the last one does. Okay, so that's that post-purchase process plan. And if you can do a mixture of both, awesome. That's 2 sales. You're selling them on this one. Oh, next month you might want to get this one. You know, that kind of a thing, okay? And then you got the agreement plan, and that's what alleviates fear. So these are the, your agreement plan is what you've always seen on, like, when you buy a car, there's your quality guarantee. Your easy installation plan is kind of like your process plan. Your quality guarantee is your agreement plan. So it's a list of agreements you make with your customer to help them overcome their fear of doing business with you. They can work to clarify the shared values between you and your customers. So that's where, when your customer is, I like shea butter because it's natural. So your thing that you're doing is like, I certify that it's all natural. It's from Nigeria. This is what you're getting. This is why you should get it. It's all natural. It's certified. Da da da. That's your quality guarantee. Okay. I'm not sure what everybody's business and how that pertains to you all, but these are things to start thinking about when we start to fill out the stuff later. So once you figure out what these two things are, your process plan, what your agreement plan is, name them something. And name them something that just makes sense. Make it obvious. Your process plan might be an easy installation plan. So if you're buying blinds, it's an easy installation of 1, 2, 3. You put the holes in, hang it up, pull it down. That's your process. Easy installation. Takes 5 minutes. Okay. Your quality guarantee is these blinds are going to last for 20 years, and this is why. They're made of all natural, blah, 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 whatever that is. Those are the two things. So keep your plans simple and easy to digest, 3 to 4 steps. You don't want to beat people over the head with too much content because they're just not going to read it and it's going to go completely out the window. Much like what I'm giving you guys too much content now. But that's the thing, is just keep it simple and easy to digest for them. So then we go into number 5. And this is where we start getting into the actual purchasing process. So customers don't take action unless they are challenged to take action. We as human beings don't really want to go out of our way to do anything that we don't absolutely have to do, okay? If I don't have to go to the store to get dinner, I'm not going to go to the store and get dinner. Like that's the thing is, unless if I see something on TV, it's like, oh, this awesome chicken. Oh man, I've got to go get that. Like that's that call to action that gets you up and gets you going, okay? So in stories, characters don't take action on their own. They must be challenged to do so by an outside force. Going back to Star Wars. Anybody a Star Wars fan here at all? No one? All right, good. All right. So, going back, and that outside force was the fact that the Empire's taking over the galaxy. Luke has to do something, okay? That's in a massive epic story sense. In our sense here in everyday life, I don't really want to do that. Oh, man, that chicken looks really good, though. I better go get that chicken. It's same premise. Same premise. It's Luke and it's you on the couch. It's the same premise. That outside force is me seeing that thing, giving me a call to action that, hey, come get this awesome chicken, okay? So you're communicating a clear and direct step our customer can take to overcome their challenge and return to a peaceful life. Okay, that direct step is you can go to Bojangles down the street, get this chicken, and you'll be back in 10 minutes. That's that clear and direct step that I can take to overcome the challenge. I'm hungry, I want dinner, and I can come back and be back in my peaceful life. Okay, it's that same premise. So without that clear call to action, people won't engage with our brand. You need to give them, you've guided them, you've told them why they need your brand, why they need your product. Now you need to say, get it, buy now, buy today. That's that call to action, and we're going to talk a lot more about call to actions, but you got to give them that call to action and really kind of kick them in the pants because people won't do it if you don't tell them to, okay? So customers cannot read our minds. It's not always obvious we want them to make an order. Make it obvious. There's a lot of times I see businesses that, they talk about, and like, oh, this is a really cool product. You're going to love this. It's going to be great. And then, like, there's no buy now button. How the hell do I buy it? Where is it? I want to buy this. You've told me. Where do I get it? Make it obvious. Make that button massive. Make that call to action on your social posts or in your advertisement or whatever that is. Make that call to action blatantly obvious as to what you want them to do. You've guided them to this point. They're ready to take action. Show them how, okay? So make your call to actions clear and repeat them often. So there are 2 types of call to action. There's a direct call to action, and that's something that leads directly to a sale or down a path to a sale. So that's your buy now button. your schedule an appointment, your call today. That's your hard sell. Okay? Your transitional call to action is really what's kind of an on-ramp for the customer to make a sale later on. They're not ready to buy yet, but they're interested. They like what you have to say, but they're not quite there yet. That doesn't mean they're not interested. They might not come back later, but they're not there yet. So you need to keep in touch with them through transitional call to action. So what does that mean? A lot of you guys have actual products here, so free product samples. That's a big thing, huge thing. Give them something. Like, hey, here's a sample of it, try it. If you like it, here's where you get more, okay? Download a PDF white sheet, which doesn't really necessarily pertain to you guys. Watch a webinar. But what this is doing, this is earning their trust. You're showing them like, hey, I've got what you need. I've got what can help you overcome the strife that you've got going on in your life right now. And by giving them that something there, you're positioning in their minds like, I'm not ready to get it yet, but that was really good. That was really good. I'm gonna have to go back and get that, okay? And you're positioning yourself as the guide, as the person like, hey, we're the brand that can help you with this. You're the guide in their story. So that's more of a soft sell. So a better way to think about this and kind of put it into a really simple concept is, think of a direct call to action as me walking up to you and saying, will you marry me? You're gonna say, no, I don't know who you are, I don't care. Like, why would I marry you, what? But if you're not into me, you're gonna say, no, I don't really care, because I haven't sold you on why you should marry me, okay? Transitional call to action is, can I take you on a date? Okay, yeah, why not? Yeah, cool, okay? And what you're doing with that is, you're starting to just touch base with them. Just give them a little bit. Say, hey, here's a free sample, try this. It's cool. And then on that second date, this is what this product can do to help you. And on that third date, hey, you want to buy it now? No? Okay. Well, here's something else. Try this. Just that trickle effect of like just staying on top of them and keeping involved and keeping yourself top of mind. So going back to direct call to action, there should be one obvious button on your website, and that should be your buy now button. It should be blatantly obvious. It should be at the top of your top corner left of your site. It should be blatantly right in the middle of your of the hero image on your site. That's that, giving them that, you're telling them how to buy your product. That's that, just make it obvious. Don't beat around the bush about it. They want to know, they're there, you sold them, now how do I do it? So that button should be bigger than any others. Make it a different color, make it a bold text. Just make it completely obvious as to why and how they should buy your product. And then repeat that over and over so people can continuously see it as they scroll. So on your site, if you have that in your hero image, you're scrolling down the page, maybe it's in the next section too. And then, maybe it talks about something, but there's a buy now button there. And then you scroll down, maybe you're talking about something else. Maybe you're talking about a hat in one section, you're talking about wallets in another. But there's buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. You're just repeating that over and over and over. So you're making it obvious to the customer, oh, that's how I do it.
Is the actual words make a difference? They're like buy now versus shop now?
I would say buy now. Yeah, make it obvious. Like just, because some people might just be like, oh, shop. If I click on shop, am I going to go to like another page that's going to have like 10 products? No, I want to buy that product. Buy that one. So make it obvious. So you have to take that initiative to guide them on how to make that buy. So include a call to action on literally everything. The end of every email blast, social post, print advertisement, radio ad, TV commercial, everything you do should have a call to action on it. There should be, when you're making a social post, if it's a wallet and you've got this new cool wallet, here's where to buy it. Here you go. Put that at the bottom of it. If you're making concealed carry things, this is how it's made. You as a female carrier, things are normally made for men. Here's something different. Buy now. Put that call to action on there on everything. And then make it very clear what you want them to do. Make a purchase so we can help them solve their problem. You're a female. You want to carry. They don't make things for females primarily. Well, we've got one for you. Here you go. I can solve your problem. Buy now. Okay? So on the other side of that, the date part of it, the transitional call to action. A good transitional call to action encourages your potential customer to further the relationship with your brand, eventually leading to a purchase. So you're not necessarily trying to sell them right now. You're trying to sell them a week from now, or a month from now, or a year from now. But what you're doing is you're keeping yourself top of mind in their head. So when they come back, they may not need this now, but when they come back and say, hey, yeah, what was that brand? Oh, yeah, this company had that. You're keeping it top of mind in their head. And you see, I'm sure you guys get emails almost every day, like Domino's sends a freaking email like 4 times a day. But what they're doing, that's a transitional call to action. It's exactly what that is. They're just keeping themselves top of mind. You're probably not going to buy. You're probably only going to buy like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. But what it is, they're going to send it to you over and over and over. And then when you do want to buy, you're like, oh, babe, I'd really like Domino's tonight. It's top of mind. That's exactly what a transitional call to action is. Okay? It stakes your claim in the realm before a competitor can beat you to it. Domino's. They want you to buy their pizza. Pizza Hut does it too, but they want make sure they see our email first. Send our email out first. Keep it up first. Like they want to stake their claim in your head. So the next time you want to buy a pizza, you think Domino's. And it also this creates reciprocity. So you give them a free sample. This is actually really relevant to what some of you guys do when you go into markets and things. When you're giving out a free sample at a market, get their email address. Hey, yeah, can I get your email address? Like, check, yeah, here, have a sample of the shea butter or whatever. You give them something, they give you something. And then this positions you as their guide. So the first time it's free, next time they come back to buy. So you're their guide. That is, they don't need to buy it right now, but I'm going to guide you and tell you why you need to buy this tomorrow or why you need to buy this next week, okay? So some examples of this, free information, kind of what we talked about, testimonials. Can you have a friend that might want to buy this too? Like, can you tell them about this? And that kind of thing. Kind of giving that testimonial is like, they've already made the purchase. Tell your friend. Tell your friend. Maybe they need it too. And we're going to get in a little bit more of that in a bit. But free samples and free trials. Basically, the whole point of a transitional call to action is you're giving them something, and they're giving you something back in return. Okay? And you're just keeping yourself just top of mind. So during this dating period, you're going to clearly define how you can help them and why they should buy from you. So this is where, if you're sending out multiple emails or if they're following you on socials and things, you're defining that how you can help them. You're a female, you want to buy a holster or a sidearm or whatever that is. It's not really my realm, but that's what you want to buy. Okay, well, make a post about like, oh, well, females, always, it's too bulky, okay? Well, ours isn't. Ours is different. Ours is sleeker. Ours fits better. You don't see it when you wear a dress or whatever that is. That's how you're helping them. And why they should buy from you is because no one else does this. We're new. We're doing this. No one else does this. We understand you. We're doing this for you. So you're guiding them on that thing that they want. Okay? Any questions? Any good? All right. So now we go into element number 6 that helps them avoid failure. So every human being is trying to avoid a tragic ending. All of us are, every single day. Every single day we wake up, we hope we don't die. It's every single day we're trying to avoid a tragic ending. And the tragic ending doesn't always necessarily have to be morbid or anything like that. A tragic ending could be FOMO. Man, I missed out on that freaking hat. My buddy got one, but I didn't get one. That's a tragic ending, okay? That's how it relates to a brand. So there's nothing at stake in a story, there is no story. If I can buy that hat tomorrow, well, I'll buy it today, okay? There's nothing at stake. Well, I don't care. Okay, I can just buy that anytime I want. But put some stakes in there, and they're going to react. Okay. If there's nothing at stake whether I buy your product or not, I'm not going to buy your product. Why should I? I don't care. Why do I? I was trying to think of something to go with shea butter, but I don't know enough about shea butter to put something in there. But you need to show them why your product is what is going to help them fix that internal conflict they have going on. Basically, that's what it all kind of goes back to. So show the customer the cost of not doing business with you. If you're an insurance salesman and your car breaks down, man, if you would have had insurance, you wouldn't be paying $6,000 out of pocket. That's the cost of not doing business with you. Shea butter. Well, if you would have bought our product, your arms wouldn't have been ashy. You know, that's what it is. It's the fear. It's the cost of not doing business with you. You know, if you would have let me fix your guitar, you'd be playing tonight. Like that's what that is. So you're helping them avoid some kind of negativity in their life. So you need to let them know what that negativity is. So maybe there are, you know, in some of your advertising, which we'll get into a little bit more in a bit, but in some of your advertising, show them that negative aspect of what they'll miss out on if they don't buy your product or they don't interact with you, okay? And let them know, you know, hey, man, you could have been up there Saturday night, but your guitar's broken. Sorry, it sucks, right? But that's the point there. So what's at stake for our hero? Like I said, a story without stakes is boring. If you don't warn the customer about what could happen if they don't buy your product, you fail to answer the so what question every customer is secretly asking in their mind. Every time I see a new product, every time I visit a site, every time I see something, I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but what is it? I don't care, whatever. If it doesn't move me, if it doesn't strike me, I'm like, whatever, cool, whatever. Show me why I need it. Tell me why I need it. That's what you need to do. And then once you do that, show me the stakes of what happens if I don't get that. Like, oh man, God, man, my ashy arms would have been looking good if I would have gotten that shea butter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta answer that so what question in their minds. So whenever you're going, you can have potential failure in everything you're doing. Your blog subjects, email content, website content, social captions. Everything can include elements of a potential failure and create a sense of urgency when it comes to your products or services. So a great example of this is Allstate Insurance. You guys have all seen those Mayhem commercials. They're brilliant because what they've done, Mayhem, they've personified Mayhem. The dude's in a suit. He doesn't care about anything. He's just going to blow your car up and walk away and just toss it. Perfect. They've defined who that villain is. They've personified him. How can you avoid Mayhem? By getting Allstate. Brilliant. It's simple. You get it. You don't have to be beat over the head with it. You can watch that in 30 seconds and completely understand the story from start to end. And now, when you're buying insurance, you're like, oh, remember that really, really cool, funny commercial? That's what that is. It's just, what's at stake? If you don't buy Allstate insurance, your car might blow up, and then you're paying for it. So that's an example from that aspect of it, but the premise is the same for your product. How can your product help your customer, help them get past whatever issue it is they're facing in their life? What's that mayhem in their life that you can help get them past? So people are motivated by loss aversion. And this is something actually I didn't even think about to myself until recently. People are more likely to be satisfied with a loss than they are satisfied with a gain. You're going to hate losing $100 more than you are, than you're going to enjoy winning $100. So this is that FOMO that we were talking about, okay? That FOMO, they're vulnerable to a threat. The threat is, I'm not going to get what I want. Since they're vulnerable, they should take action to reduce their vulnerability. I need to buy that before it sells out. Give them a specific call to action and protect them from the risk. Hey man, you want this? Right here's how to do it. Boom, buy now. Big, blatant, boom, buy it. And then challenge them to take that action and order now or call today. I just use him as an example, but it fits for all of you guys. What are they vulnerable to that your product specifically can help them overcome that vulnerability? And then tell them how they can overcome that vulnerability. And then challenge them, no, do it now, because it might not be here tomorrow. You just got to create that FOMO in their mind. If you don't get it now, you're not going to get it, okay? FOMO is a massive, massive appeal.
I think, from my brand anyways, that has probably worked the absolute best. Every way we've tried selling that, because you build it up. So that if you're going to do a drop at the end of the month, or for this case, Friday, so the beginning of the month, But all last month, everyone's talking about it. Like, when can you get it? Well, you can get it here. Click the bell so you have the reminder.
Yep.
Or just, subscribe to our newsletter so you can be the first one to know. You might get, free chance at an hour before everyone else does.
Yep.
Whatever. We just continuously are selling the day,
Yep.
Friday at 8 p.m.
Yep.
And by the time it comes, I mean, that's why I asked about addiction, because the amount of grown adults that message me about a freaking wallet is insane. And it's all about, they're just addicted. They just want it because they don't have it yet. And so-and-so has it. And they've seen other pictures on Instagram. And it creates the I guess, what does FOMO stand for?
Fear of missing out.
Ah, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge for me anyways.
Yeah, I mean, well, we use that. I do everything for Cabarrus Brewing, and we use exactly those same tactics when it comes to beer releases. When we released Witch Doctor, built it up, it sold out in 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds. I put the post up, and I got a text message, sold out. I was like, well, I didn't even finish posting it. What has happened here? But what that is just we built that. One, the Cabarrus Brewing brand we built to really appeal to this area. It's unapologetically built for this area to the people that live here. Then we knew exactly what we were doing when we did the Witch Doctor beer.
And the cherry lemon
Sauerkraut, exact same thing.
Yeah.
Same premise. It hits on that nostalgic nerve of the people here in this area. When I put that out there that very first time, when I said something about what those beers are, people were like, "Holy shit, what is that? Like, I want that." Like, and messages started flying in, like what you were just talking about. Where is that? When is it coming out? Where can I get it? Where can I get it? Where can I get it? Exactly. And what that is that fear of missing out. That's why people start putting a calendar notification on their calendar to say, "Hey, Wednesday at noon is when this is going to go on pre-sale. I need to be on there at like 11:58, ready to hit buy." So that's what that is. That's that order now, call today, get it, or you're going to miss out. But the thing about it is you got to go easy on the fear tactics because you don't want to become a fear monger because that turns customers off. You don't want to go overboard on the, you could really, you're gonna die if you don't get this. Like, you don't want to become a fear monger on it. Okay. Show them that like your life isn't going to be what you want it to be if you don't get this. But don't say, "Oh, well, your dog's gonna die if you don't get this." Like, don't become a fear monger, okay? Because what that's gonna do is people are just gonna go, "What? I don't know. God, no. Oh, that's terrible." And then it's gonna completely turn you off and they're not gonna buy it. So then we come into the seventh. It ends in a success. So never assume people understand how your brand can change their lives. You've got to tell them. If we don't tell people where we're taking them, they'll engage another brand who will. Offer a vision of how great the life would be if they engage your products or services, which is kind of some of the things that we've just been talking about there. And then, this is the most important part, show them a happy ending to their story. And this is kind of where we're kind of going back to those testimonials and things like that. Show happy past customers. Show them that like, oh, your life can be this too if you get this product, okay? So this is the end of their story. Make sure it's a happy ending, okay? So this is another one of the pages that's in there, but the ending of the story should be specific and clear. Whatever you sell, show people happily engaging with your product. When you're doing social posts or your website imagery or whatever that is, try to show your product in the hands of someone smiling. It works every time. People inherently, when I see someone smiling, I'm like, oh, what's going on over there? Show your product with people smiling, holding your product. Like it's in our animal brain that appeals to us, okay? So this is gonna be something you guys are gonna do here in a few minutes when we finish up, but brainstorm ways that your customer's life will change after they engage your brand. This will give you the copy you need to use in your marketing collateral. So, and then once you define how their life will change, you must tell them how their life will change so they're motivated to take action and do that by now. So what do they have before your brand? What do they have after your brand? What are they feeling before and after? What's an average day like before and after? And what is their status? How are they? Did they overcome that issue that they had? Did their friends think they're cool now? Like that sort of a thing. So brainstorm some of the ideas, and we're going to do this in a minute, as to what happens before and after. And what you're going to do here, you're going to say, they had a internal conflict of my yard looks like crap. But then they got your lawnmower, and now it looks great. Everything, like everybody in the neighborhood loves their yard. Da, da, da. Okay, that's a story that you can create an ad on. You can create an image of a guy who has a crappy yard, or do a little video of a guy with a crappy yard, and then he goes to the store and, oh wow. Next scene is him push mowing his yard, and then ends with him sitting back drinking some tea on the porch with sunset and a beautiful yard. That's how you start coming up with those concepts and those ideas of how to create your marketing collateral to answer, what happened before, what happened after. This is a story in itself that you can use to create things, social posts and website imagery and everything else. So you're going to do a little brainstorming here in a bit. So how to end a story for your customer. So when you resolve your customer's internal, external, and philosophical problems, you've created a resolution that will satisfy their story. Again, going back to what we talked about Apple, fantastic job Apple did with telling their brand story and getting people to understand what it is they're offering me and why I need it. So that it satisfies my story because I like simple technology. I don't want to have to code in and sign in. I don't want to do all that. I want to be able to just get on, do my thing, and get out. Okay. So they're one of the best examples of resolving all three. So the three primary ways to end a story: the hero wins some sort of power or position. That's that status. Become unified with someone or something that makes them whole. Maybe that's helping them find a significant other. Your product's going to make you more attractive to the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever if you use this, okay? Experience some kind of self-realization that makes them whole. So that's where, that's that acceptance of who you are. Like, Dove is actually doing a great example of that right now in a campaign where they're showing women of all body types. And Victoria's Secret, I think, is doing something similar too. Well, what it does is the whole premise of the campaign is to show self-acceptance and self-love of who you are. And that's how they're appealing to you to make you want to buy a bra or to make you want to buy their lotion, okay? So if you can promise a revolution that fits one of these primary desires, your messaging will be effective and enticing. So these are three important things to keep in mind whenever you're starting to develop your messaging and what your brand story is going to be. So to go over that, winning in power and position. Everyone wants status. If your brand can make our customers more esteemed, respected, and appealing in a social context, we're offering something they want. Our animal brain, we want to be at the top of the pack. We're a pack animal. When you boil it down, human beings are a pack animal. Okay, we want to be at the top. We don't want to be the omega. We don't want to be at the bottom. We want to be at the top. So we need that status symbol to get us further up the rung of the ladder. This is why people buy luxury vehicles and luxury goods. So how do you offer status? You can offer them access, like a frequent buyer club that inspires more purchases. Create scarcity, FOMO. Offer a limited amount of a product, which makes owning that product itself is a status symbol. People who got Witch Doctor, that thing was going on the secondary market, which is ridiculous. But people wanted it, they didn't get it, so people were like, oh, well, I've got it. Oh, wow, no way you got it? Like that, it's that status, okay? And then offer an identity association. This is one of those things where if it doesn't make sense for your brand to be perceived as upper echelon, be careful here because that upper echelon kind of turns some people off and it kind of scares some people away because they think it's expensive. But if it does make sense, position your brand as being exclusive. Exclusive is the main word there. Like Mercedes and Rolex, they're exclusive. If you have something like that, like, ooh, wow, ooh, that guy drives a Mercedes, wow, ooh. Like that's that exclusivity, that identity association is giving you that status symbol. So that status opens doors, we all know that. And by associating your brand with success and refinement, your customers perceive the status that comes along with you. Basically what that is, they're aspirational brands. If it makes sense for your brand to be an aspirational brand, lean into it 100%. If it doesn't, be careful going too far down that road, because people who, again, this goes back to know your customer. If your customer, if that's what appeals to them, 100% go that way. If you're making Rolexes or high-end watches or whatever, and that customer is expecting to see that from you. If you're not, and you're more of a budget-friendly kind of a thing, don't do that, because your customer is going to say, "Ooh, that's too expensive. I'm not even going to entertain buying that." Okay? So something to think about there. The second thing, a union that makes them whole. So the need for something external to create completeness in your life. Your product rescues them from the problem they had that makes their story complete. I need a lawnmower. I got my lawnmower. Now my yard looks awesome, and I can sit back and just enjoy my Saturday evening, drink my tea, and watch my beautiful yard. So how do you offer that external help? You reduce their anxiety because what was stressing them out was a crappy yard. You reduce that anxiety, and you've offered them that external help. You reduce their workload. So if you're if you offer the right tool for the job that they have been missing out, that makes their life easier. So if I can mow my yard in 20 minutes versus an hour, yeah, I'm going to buy that 100%. Yeah, I'm going to do that. It's the right tool for the right job, and that's the premise of reducing my workload. Like, that makes it easier on me. I'm 100% going to buy that. And then more time. If you can help them expand time, you can solve an external problem they are facing that sucks up their available time, which will also resolve their internal frustration. The external frustration is my yard looks like crap. The internal frustration is my neighbors think my yard looks like crap, and I don't have enough time to spend with my kids because I've got to be out here mowing my yard. So if I can get a lawnmower that mows it in 20 versus an hour, yeah, I'm going to buy that 100%. Because now I can solve my internal frustration and my external frustration in one product. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then a self-realization that makes them whole. This is going back to that philosophical thing there. So this is the need to accept themselves because they have reached their potential. They have achieved the inner peace they have been searching for by fulfilling a purpose or acceptance of who they are. So how do you offer a sense of self-realization? Inspiration. Your brand can be associated with inspirational feat, like Nike. Nike is a great example of an aspirational and inspirational brand. A lot of times they don't even focus their product until the very end of their commercials. What they show you is someone running, and they show you like jumping and playing basketball and da-da-da-da. And what they're inferring there is you too can do this if you wear these. That's what that is. That's that inspiration. Can you think of something that your brand could inspire someone to do in that same sense? So acceptance. Helping people accept themselves isn't just the right thing to do, it's also good marketing. Again, like I was just talking about, Dove and Victoria's Secret is focusing on body types. Yes, they're doing an awesome thing for women, but don't think they're doing it because they want to sell you a bra. Like, that's what they're doing it for, okay? So yes, they are doing a great thing for the overall, for women overall by saying, hey, this is okay. But at the end of the day, they want you to buy that bra that will fit better, okay? And then transcendence. Can you invite your customers to participate in a movement that is larger than themselves? A great example of this is Tom's shoes. I'm sure you guys have seen Tom's. Everybody wears those things. What they do, the way they've kind of positioned this brand and made it so appealing is, because in all honesty, they're really not great looking shoes. But how they sell them is if you buy one of these, we give a pair to a kid in South America or Africa or wherever, in a country that needs it, okay? So by me buying this pair of shoes that I can afford, I'm really helping somebody else out. Like, that transcendence is doing something bigger than myself that they tapped into. Is there a way that your brand can tap into something that puts the story above the self? So wow, this is awesome stuff, right? So how the heck do you do this, okay? So how the heck do you do this in your brand? Really, the first thing is build a better website. And so, I haven't checked out your stuff, so you might already have an awesome website, but some things to think about. The more you implement this concept of story into your branding and marketing strategy, the more people will understand why they need to buy your products and services. So you're not necessarily selling the what, you're selling the why, okay? So start with your website. Normally it's your first point of contact, and it's your first impressions always matter. Sometimes that's all you get is that first impression. If someone goes to your site and they can't find anything, if I see shea butter and I see your shea butter at a market and I come to your website and I don't even see shea butter on your site when I first get there, I'm like, well, what happened there? Where is it? Where is it? Like, I want to see that front and center, okay? So the potential customer needs to know you have something they want, and you can be trusted to deliver what that is. Keep it simple, to the point. Well, that was supposed to be a T here. Because people don't read websites, they scan them. I see that a lot. I build sites for clients, and they give me when we start laying things out on the wireframe, they'll give me a block of text like this. I'm like, no one's going to read that. No one's even going to come close to reading that. So how can we break that up into little pieces like this? And maybe that content gets broken up into little pieces like this, where one's here, one's there, one's there, one's there. Learn more. If I want to learn more about that, then I can find out more about it, okay? 5 things your website should include. An offer above the fold. Does everybody understand what I mean when I say above the fold? So above the fold is a newspaper term. A newspaper's sit on a rack like that. You see this first? That's above the fold, okay? Your website, that's the first thing I see. That's above the fold. So it's the first thing when I go to your site, I want to see what it is you're offering or what it is I'm looking for. And then I want to see how can I buy it. That big buy now button, put it right in the middle, okay? Obvious calls to action. Your customer reviews your site in a Z pattern, so put your buy now button at the top right and right smack dab in the middle of the page. So when someone goes to your site, they see your logo, they look over, put a buy now button. They go down, right in the middle. They're going down, they're starting to read the text that's below the hero image, okay? And then when they start scrolling down the page, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, okay? Images of success. This is going back to that show smiling people right from the start, and bonus points if they're holding on to your product. If you can have your bottle or your hat or your wallet or your guitar or whatever in someone's hand smiling, perfect. Like, that's what people want to see, okay? A lot of times I see, actually a lot of times, especially if there's a brick and mortar store, there'll be a photo of the store on there, or like a photo of the outside of the store. It's like, well, are you selling a building or are you selling products? If you're a real estate company, then yeah, put the building on there. But if you're selling bottles of soda or whatever, show me those bottles of soda. Show me that product that you're selling. As soon as I see it first thing on your site, that's the first thing I want to see. And show people smiling. Everybody is, again, our animal brain is just hardwired to instantly connect with someone we see smiling. I do it myself. I feel like an idiot sometimes because I'll see someone like smiling and laughing, and I'll just find myself going, and I'm like, why the hell am I doing that? But it's just in our instinct, it's in our nature to do that. And then again, bite-sized breakdown of your revenue streams. Don't bombard your visitor with too much at once and offer them the opportunity to learn more. So this is something that if you have multiple lines of products, like you have hats and wallets and all this kind of stuff, don't beat people over the head like right off the bat, like, oh, we have this, and this, okay? Show them one thing. What's your biggest seller? What is your biggest seller? Wallets, okay. Wallets, first and foremost, boom. Then as I go down, hats, keychains, whatever, your revenue streams, as the smaller they are, the further they should be down the page, okay? So you want to just give them little bite-sized nuggets of things. Again, this is kind of going back to that Word doc that I get that's this long. Pull out that much text of it, put that on the home page with a Learn More button. And if I want to learn more, about your concealed carries holsters, then I'm like, oh yeah, let me check that out. I'm going to click on that, and that's where I want to see this, because this is where I want to learn about what it is you offer. Because having this much content on your site isn't necessarily a bad thing for SEO purposes. You know what I mean by SEO, search engine optimization, because that's content that Google can read and crawl and index. Okay, so it's not a bad thing to have a decent amount of content on there, but when you're hard selling someone or when you're really trying to get someone's attention, no one wants to read that. They want to see this. Okay, so keep it short. And in very few words. People don't want to read websites, they scan them. The fewer words you can use to get your point across, the higher likelihood people will actually read them. And I see this all the time. Social posts are the same way. People, sometimes there are a need for important information that'll be in a social post. Comparison building is for an example. If there's something that's important that needs to be said, you put it in there, and then literally there'll be someone who comments asking a question that I literally answered right here. They don't read it. They look at the image. Oh, that's cool. Hey, why? What time is that? I'm like, it's right there. I'm like, come on. So if there is important information that you really need to kind of get across, especially from like a social standpoint and social media, put that content in the image itself. So that way people will actually take a chance and actually read it. But on your website, especially on your homepage, keep it short, to the point, and then give the option to learn more if people want to. So 5 things you can do to grow your business. Create a one-liner. A one-liner is a short statement you can recite when someone asks, so what do you do? It's the new elevator pitch. Everybody knows what an elevator pitch is. Yeah. 2, create a lead generator and collect email addresses. So capture their email so you can continue to stay in their consciousness. That's that just staying at top of mind that we were talking about. That's that dominoes, okay? Create an automated email drip campaign. Periodically check in to show them how you can help them. Again, staying top of mind. Collect and tell stories of transformation. This is where you're starting to collect testimonials that showcase how your product or service was right for others, because people want to see someone else go first. If someone else has already bought it and like, oh, I had this problem and this solved it, and like, oh, I had that problem too, maybe that'll help me. That's what they want, okay? No one wants to be the first one to do it. And then create a system that generates referrals. Invite your happy customers to become brand evangelists and create a system that incentivizes them to spread the word about your brand. If there are happy customers that are willing to give you a testimonial, give them a reason to like, hey, if you invite 5 friends and if they make a purchase, I'll give you a free blah, whatever. You're giving them a reason to spread the word for you. So a one-liner. Create a short statement that entices people to ask for your business card and use it all the time. It's more than a slogan or a tagline. It's a single statement that makes people realize why they need your products or services. So for example, here's mine. I own a creative agency named Subliminal that focuses on brand development and helps organizations define who they are and how they find their ideal customer and increase revenue. So look at what's in here. It's the premise of story, the character, organizations, the problem, define who they are and how they plan, find their ideal customer, the success to increase revenue, okay? So in that one sentence, I've got 4 parts of the premise of story right there. You get the story in one sentence, okay? That's what you guys, that's something to think about. That way, when you're standing at in an elevator or you're at a store or whatever, and someone says, hey, what do you do? You can tell them more than like, well, it's complicated. We make hats and we make wallets and we do all, we make a bunch of stuff. No, I own a company that develops leather-based goods for, that sort of a thing, okay? Get the point across, tell the story as quickly and succinctly as you can. 2, create a lead generator. Collect email addresses and utilize them in email marketing. Email marketing is the most effective way you can spread the word about your business, especially if you don't have a large marketing budget. There are free, the one that I actually suggest the most is MailChimp. MailChimp is awesome. MailChimp allows you to send up to 10,000 emails a month for free. That's 10,000 emails to your list. So if your list is only got 500 people in it, you can send a ton of emails. If your list has 10,000 people, then you can send one for free. But it's not expensive. Even if you pay for it, it's not expensive. So you don't have to have a large marketing budget to do some of the things that you can do here. So offer someone something valuable in return for them signing up, a quid pro quo. So when they sign up, for an email, maybe you send them an offer as a little bit of a transitional thing of, hey, bring in this coupon for a free shea butter or whatever that is. Give them something and a reason to come in and interact with you, okay? Because they're not going to if you don't. Some examples of lead generators. A downloadable guide, which doesn't really necessarily pertain to you guys. Online course webinar, a free trial. A free trial of, if you set up a monthly club or something like that, maybe give them the first month free as a reason to join, okay? Free samples, big thing. And then live events. Actually, there was someone who does kind of like live events.
I don't think I talked about it, but we're getting ready to do like for Father's Day, it's going to be build a belt and craft beer. Okay. So basically, like if you wanted to buy your dad a belt, you two could actually make it together and have some local craft beer.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. So, ask them for the email when they get there. Yep. Create a crafting class where people can get their email whenever they arrive. So, you're giving them this class. Well, I'm sure they're probably paying for part of the class, but as part of them taking part in the class, you're giving them that. They're giving you something back in return, okay? And then on your website, feature your email sign up prominently. Pop-ups are the best, but don't beat them over the head as soon as they come to your site. Like give it like a 10-second delay, because I'm sure we've all gone to sites and like as soon as you see it, it's like, man, come on.
I was just going to ask that question. Currently, I don't have any pop-ups on my website, mainly because of my preferences. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've never done a poll to see should I be doing it or not. I know for me when
have you ever seen the movie Joe Dirt?
Yeah.
You know the fireworks stand where he says it's not about what you want, it's about the consumer.
Well, I agree. But I know for me, like as soon as I get on, if I click on a website and it's like pop up, it usually drives me away. I'll go to another website.
Exactly. So once. So whenever they come, give them a little bit of time to go on your site. You can set it a delay, 10-second delay, because it's not that way. It's not as soon as your page loads, you don't want to pop up.
Yeah, as soon as you move the mouse, it's like, wait, exactly. I can't even click on the product you want to buy.
Give it a little bit of time, and then only show it once. So it'll be cached, so they don't show it again for however long you set that cache until I guess they empty their cache. But if they don't empty their cache, you can set it. Don't show this person at this IP address this again for 30 days. Okay, so show them a pop-up, but leave it a delay and only show it once on the site. Don't show it on every single page because people are going to be like, "What the? Stop!" I'm like, I get it. Stop.
Talk to us now. We're live.
Right? Yeah. Don't care. Don't care. Yeah. Do not care at all. Create an automated drip campaign. Content is important, but the main purpose of a drip campaign is to simply remind customers that you exist. This is that Domino's. This is why you get an email from Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever, like basically every single day. Usually around lunchtime and then sometimes even again around dinner time. They may not need you today, but when you do, you will remember, they will remember who you are and what you have and where they can reach you. So I'm not going to buy a pizza today for lunch, but you know what? Maybe next week. Oh, pizza sounds good today. Oh, Domino's. All right, cool, man. Like that's what that is. Okay. So basically, what a drip campaign is a pre-written sequence of email that message that trigger once someone is added to your list. So a lot of times you probably have seen when you sign up for an email, you might get like an email like immediately saying, "Thanks for signing up. Check out our specials at blah, whatever." And then if you don't click on that one, maybe a couple days later, you'll get another one that's like, "Oh, we also have blah, 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 blah." And then if you don't click on that one, then you might get another one like a week or two later. That's what that is. It's a drip campaign. What these are is someone's written them out and they've scheduled to say, okay, when this person signs up on this date, show it to them here. Wait so many days, show it to them again. If they click buy on this one, don't show them this one. That's what a drip campaign is. So there are two types of emails when it comes to like this kind of thing. A nurture email is basically they're soft sales. You're not even really selling. You're just keeping top of mind. Okay. So for instance, like if you're emailing someone about shea butter that you've got this special blend, blah, 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 blah. Just tell them what it is. You don't necessarily, I mean, maybe put like a little small buy now call to action in there, but it's not, you're not beating them over the head with it, okay? Then you might send them another one. Like, oh, we also offer this. Check it out. No. Learn more. And then maybe the third is, this is just in, buy now. Day only special, 2-day special, whatever. Like, that's the hard sell. So what you're doing is you're doing a couple of nurture emails to kind of keep them on the hook, and then you do the hard sell email. So that's the nibble, the catch, okay? Also, when it comes to email campaigns, 20% open rate is standard. Anything above that is pretty much outstanding. I've actually even got clients that are like, nobody actually looks at our emails. And it's like, well, no, they do. 20% of them is actually really good. If you have 20% of 10,000, that's a lot of people, okay? And then if someone unsubscribes, awesome. They were probably never gonna buy anyway. What happens there, especially whenever you start getting into large lists, dead weight kills you because you're still sending those emails to people who are never gonna buy, but you're paying for it. So for instance, that 10,000 emails I talked about earlier, if you have a list that's 5,000 people, you can only send an email twice before you start paying for it. And out of that, maybe 20% of those people are going to actually even open it, and maybe out of that, 5% might actually even click the buy now. So anybody who unsubscribes, cool, get out, leave, bye. You're saving me money here. So you're saving me time, you're saving me effort, and you're saving me money. So don't get discouraged by anyone who unsubscribes. It's better to have a small list of qualified, interested subscribers than it is just a list of dead weight. Again, MailChimp, highly recommend. There's also Constant Contact and all those others, but I personally have told clients about MailChimp for, 14, 15 years now. So highly recommend them. And then collect stories of transformation. One of the best ways to illustrate how we can help our customers transform is through customer testimonials. Great customer testimonials give potential customers the gift of going second, like we talked about. Nobody wants to be first. No one wants to be the first one to try your product. That's why whenever you first start out, it's probably better to give some product away and then ask for something in return. So that way you start to build up your customer testimonials. So when real paying customers start coming in, they'll see, oh, Tom loved it. That's cool. He had the same issue I have. I'll buy that. No, I'll try it. So showcase your value, the results you get for your customers, and the experience other people have had working with you. It's better to kind of stay away from personal family and friends with this sort of thing, because what they're going to do is they're going to start putting personal things into it, like, oh, Jimmy's business is awesome. He's so sweet. I'm like, no, customer doesn't care about that. They want to know, what was the product? Did it solve the problem? And should I buy it? Or would they tell me to buy it because it worked out for them, okay? And then from this, you can also create video testimonials that show past customers who are happy. Don't go completely overboard with testimonials. Usually only like 3 to 5 is good. Nobody's going to read more than that anyway. So just try to get maybe 3 to 5. And if that's if you have specific products that are like one of your bigger sellers, you can get 3 to 5 testimonials for that product specifically. You can have testimonials for your overall brand, how someone's, interacted with you. So don't put too many on there. Don't beat people over the head with them, but it is good to have a couple. So people are drawn to transformation. When they see it in others, they'll want it for themselves. If you can show Jill holding a bottle of shea butter, laughing and smiling, wiping it on herself, and she's happy in her product and her buy, someone else is going to say, oh, wow, that's awesome. She liked that. I'm going to get that too. So that's the premise there, okay? And then 5, create a system that generates referrals. The final step is to invite happy customers to become brand evangelists and incentivize them to spread the word. So peer recommendations and word of mouth is 2.5 times more responsive than any other marketing channel. It's massive. I'm going to trust someone I know who's tried this more than I'm going to trust some random person on the internet. So if you can build a network of people who will talk about you to their friends and family, they're the ones that are going to sell for you better than your emails or your website or anything else. So if there are people that really are like interacting with you on socials, or you see email addresses that are constantly opening up your emails, those are the people you need to start targeting and saying, hey, would you mind doing this? Check this out. Maybe if you offer a reward to the customer who refers a friend, say, hey, ask one of your friends, like give them this 20% off coupon, and if they buy, I'll give you 50% off of your next purchase, or whatever. And then offer in-person events for past customers to bring friends to. So for instance, like you were talking about that workshop. If there are past customers of yours that have bought your product, invite them to bring one of their friends along with them. And if they buy, give the person who brought a friend that's already a customer, give them a percentage off of their next purchase or something like that. Give them something, quid pro quo, give them something, get something, okay? And then you could possibly start an affiliate program where customers get a commission on orders they bring to you. That's really more of a online sales kind of a thing. That's really basically someone else is creating a store, sending to you to put the purchase in, and then they get a cut of whatever that is. It's not right for all businesses, but it could be for some. Got it? Good, because saddle up, partner, because now it's your turn. So the sheets that are in front of you there, those are all of the things we just discussed. So we're going to spend, holy crap, we're almost out of time. I was hoping we'd have like 45 minutes for this, but we do not. We only have about 15 minutes. So now you have homework. But what I want you to do is to start thinking about, start going through, and you're going to get this slide deck so you can refer back to it as you go through here, but start thinking about how you can implement this into your brand. How would it work? Maybe not everything that's in here is going to really pertain to what you're doing so much, but parts of what's in here are 100% going to appeal, are 100% going to pertain to everyone in this room. So start thinking about who your customer is, what it is they want, how you can guide them to buy your product as to alleviate the issue they have in their life, and then get them to talk about how awesome it was, and get their friends to buy your product too. So that's kind of the whole premise of this thing. Do we have any questions or anything? We only have about 15 minutes left, but.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So I know you were saying the email campaigns, but now people are jumping on board with these text messaging campaigns too. So what are your thoughts on those?
Personally, I hate them. But do they work? Yeah, they do. Every time I get one, I immediately delete it because it just annoys me. It feels invasive. Right, it feels invasive. Every time I see one and it's political, God, I hate political season because it's always the political ones. And it's like, delete. So I guess the answer to that question is: does that appeal to your customer, your demographic? Do the people that you're targeting, do they respond to that? Because if they don't, you're going to turn them off, and they're going to be like, oh, I'm not going to buy from you. I was going to buy your product, but now I'm not because I'm annoyed. So
I feel like it's for a younger crowd. Right?
it is,
They're
yeah.
on their phone all the time anyways.
Right.
They don't talk. All they do is text.
Right.
So that may be more appropriate for younger.
Right, and again, that's just
Knowing who you're.
define who your customer is and who's that demographic, and if that fits your customer's demographic, then okay, try it. Yeah, and see the metrics on did it work? Did you start off with 100 people that you were text messaging, and did 80 of them unsubscribe like immediately? Okay, well it doesn't work, then don't do it. This whole thing is a trial and error. You're going to probably go through this 10, 20 times before you actually define, okay, yes, this is my customer. This is how I can help them. I gave you this as basically just as a starting point, but start to think about this. This whole thing is built off of the Story brand. This is the best book on marketing and branding, in my opinion, that has been put out in at least the past 10 years. I put it in in the class notes as one of the resources. If it is something that you want to really kind of explore a little more, 100% buy this book. It's awesome. It's great. I've completely changed my entire business model to fit this because it just works. It's awesome. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, so Does that answer your question? Are you good? All right.
Can I jump off that question just
Yeah.
a little bit? The monthly emails or like the drip campaigns or whatever you want to call it that you're doing, what is too much? Is there a generalized idea of like don't send 50 emails a month, of course?
Don't send 50 emails a month, no.
Yeah, so right now, literally all I do is a newsletter.
Yeah.
It's called Rustic and Rugged. And it
What's the, what kind of response are you getting?
so it's usually like 80 to 90% open rate.
Wow.
And like 25 to 30% click-through rate.
Wow.
But I mean, it's only like 552 people right now. Not even,
Okay.
like I just started this.
How many sales are you normally getting like per email? Can you
So
rate it?
that's where it drops. So the open rate, click-through rate, and then the sales, like out of 500 and something, it's like 2 sales
Okay.
from the actual newsletter. But I don't push anything in the newsletter. That's the thing. The newsletter is basically like what we're doing in the workshop for this month. We talk a lot about our travel as our family because we travel all over, and then hiking and outdoor adventure. Something quick each month just to kind of spike people's attention to get outdoors, be adventurous, and then being that you're part of our newsletter group, it's like some months it's 10%, some it's 15, sometimes 20s, and it's just basically hey, special offer for you, and that's the button to shop now.
Try putting it at the top.
Okay.
Put that at the top and see if you see a noticeable difference in that purchase rate between, and just test it. And honestly, you might be able to, if you have those people that are, segment those people that are opening but not buying often, and segment that list, send 2 different emails. Send an email to that list that has that at the top, and then maybe try another, segment the list to, where maybe this call to action, because that's what it is. Put it below your main story. Just test it. It's called A/B testing. That's what that is.
Okay.
A/B testing is market A gets this, market B gets this. Which one works better?
Gotcha.
And then if you see A works better, okay, well, we're going to start doing this more because it works better.
So for right now, though, that's all I do. I send that one letter every month, and then aside from that, we do a monthly drop on our newest wallet that sells out. Like I said, usually it's between 2 and 4 hours.
So you're seeing high sales rate on when you do that on those monthly drops?
So when I send that email, basically it's just notifying my subscribers that it's live, and it's crazy because the people that I guess that are following me. So that's like an 80 to 100% open rate, and then it doesn't have any data from click through or nothing because I think they're either just using the link that comes with it and going to the website, and then at the top
What
of my
are you using?
Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at the top of my thing, that's where I leave that wallet. It always says shop now, even when it's sold out. And so, I mean, it's so quick just to click my website, click buy now, go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing with it.
Interesting.
But that's my 2 emails. And I don't know if I should be doing more.
I would say, honestly, you could probably get away with like 1 per week. Start with 1 per week and see if you have products that actually warrant, like, can you put them out fast enough to do it once a week. But another thing to maybe think about doing is when someone is, if you have those customers if you can see those customers that are constantly opening, like all the time, like even they're always clicking, no matter what, they're always clicking. Segment those people into a smaller list and send them something special. Let them have, hey, this goes live at noon, but you get an hour early access to buy it.
Yeah, so like our last drop, we did the subscribers can get it an hour early.
Okay.
And so we dropped 60 wallets, and in the first 5 minutes, we had sold 35.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was based off of that letter that went out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could probably get away with doing. I like what you were saying about your whole kind of brand is around outdoor lifestyle and that sort of thing. Because that's a demographic that is very loyal. Once you've hooked them, they are in. Like they love that. Like that's their thing. Gerber Knives does a similar kind of thing. Like their brand is really kind of focused on that outdoor lifestyle. And people were like, I'm a designer, but I'm gonna buy that knife because maybe one day I'll need to fillet a fish or something. It appeals to me, to my male brain, to be like, oh, that's cool. I don't need it, but it's cool. I want to buy that. So you could probably get away, because of your demographic, you could probably get away with like, I'd do once a week, start there and see, are you seeing really any major shifts in what people are buying and how often they're buying? And if you start to see click rates going down, then maybe you're sending too many. And maybe that's when you're like, okay, well, my customer doesn't want to hear from me this often.
And I noticed like the higher click-through rates are when I'm using social media to promote like the next drop. Like it's getting closer to it, and so that's spiking that addictive trait in people. They're like, wait a minute, I've seen a post on Instagram 2 or 3 times that this drop's coming. What date was it? And then they're opening that email to see.
Good, yeah. So that means they're keeping it in their inbox. So that means they're top of mind. You're top of mind, and you're living rent free in their head, basically. No, that's great. It sounds like you actually have a really good following there, really engaged following. So
Small. We're still real small. It's very niche. Like,
is your goal to actually grow to a larger following, or do you want to kind of keep it that?
no.
small?
I want to be a household name. Like, I don't want people to even know what Gucci is. 50 years from now, I want to be a household name. But it's definitely like I'm not selling to Mercedes folks.
Right.
I'm selling to everyone else.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like don't associate that identity of luxury with it. Then keep that identity of outdoor lifestyle. That you can. Dudes who want to camp and flay fish, like that's your.
Yeah, and it's hard to kind of depict and bring it all down because like it's all handmade, it's made in America.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, that demographic loves that. Like that's exactly made in America is huge, and then handmade is you're appealing to them because a lot of those guys, they're woodworkers or they're mechanics or like they work with their hands, so that appeals to them. Like that, you're talking their language when it comes to that. So it sounds like you actually have a really good thing going there. That's awesome. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. Any other questions? Anybody have any questions? Very cool. I have a guitar I might need you to fix, so I'm glad you're here. So, well, cool. Again, my name is Justin Moore. Subliminal Creates. Subliminal is the name of my company. Again, I'm a designer by trade. That's really my bread and butter. And then brand development is really what I kind of. The design is just part of the overall brand of the branding. So that's kind of moving in that direction of overall brand with kick-ass design. So that's kind of my niche. So I'm glad you guys came today. Thank you for listening to me. I know I got a little long-winded there, but you guys are going to get the slide deck. And any questions, feel free to reach out.